I don't need to eat you. I don't need to eat girls when I can eat oatmeal and ice cream anytime I want. Well, I feel really sad, I'm pretending not to care about girls, but I'm still single and I'm almost 29. I'm turning 29 really soon. On the 11th of February 2014, I will turn 29. I was born in 1985. I'm Oatmeal, and this is Original Oatmeal, and today I would like to talk about my life. And this is going to be from the top of my head. I was born in 1985 on a Monday, the 11th of February. That makes me an Aquarius. I was born in the morning around 6 a.m. according to my mother. Aquarius people, according to the zodiac and astrology, astronomy, they are crazy. Aquarius people are crazy. Aquarius is a word that has to do with water. I was born to my mother, Marilyn Kathleen Moorhead, and her ancestors are from like America, United States, and also those people are from Europe. And my father, I was born also to my father. Not directly out of him because people, guys can't have babies. But he was adopted. So my father is Donald Melvin Arnold. He was adopted into the Arnold family. But originally he was a rasp. And his father was born in Holland. So I was born with a lot of problems like Treacher-Collins syndrome, and before I was born my mother almost died. Somehow there were problems with trying to give birth to me, and it was hard, and I don't exactly know all the details, but she said that she could have died, and I believe her because she's my mother. And I was born with different problems like the Treacher-Collins syndrome, which affects the way I look. I believe that maybe my chin is a little too small than some people, and you could call that a birth defect, something that you're born with. And also, with my teeth is a little different. Maybe my teeth are not straight and a little too yellow, not white enough, and maybe the gums are different, the teeth are different, not straight, and maybe the roof of my mouth is a little too high, and maybe my tongue is a little too small, which affects the way I talk, and it may make things a little harder for me. And also, I was born and around 1 year old, I was still having trouble, so I was partly deaf, and then they put hearing tubes into my ears. And I remember the first few years of my life, I would go to my aunt and uncle's house, Karen and Jim Williams, in the coast around Astoria and Warrington in Oregon. So I was born in Forest Grove. Forest Grove. It's a little city about an hour from Portland, Oregon, the USA, United States of America. And I was born in a hospital that's like a maple syrup hospital, or maybe like Maple Clinic, or maybe a Tualatin Valley hospital, and raised in a trailer in a so-called ghetto in a Rose Grove mobile home park where they have trailers, like manufactured homes. So I wasn't actually born in a trailer, almost like a trailer, but like a bigger kind of trailer with 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms and 2 hallways and a kitchen and a living room, and we had a big maple tree and an apple tree and a pear tree that later we cut down because we were going to make later on my father said he was going to make a basketball court in the backyard, but he didn't. But he cut down the tree, and I thought it was a great idea because we were going to have a basketball court in the backyard and put cement on the ground. So I was born in 1985 when I was 0 years old. or 9 months, but who's keeping track of these details? You know, life is full of these details, but we don't really have time to talk about the exact details. So we talk in generality. So generally speaking, I'm about 0, unless you were born in like an Asian country like Vietnam, where I am now, where they say you're about 1 year old and you turn a different age during the Lunar New Year, the Tet, T-E-T, Tet, the Lunar New Year, which is around January and February of each year. You turn older. You know, you turn the next year during the New Year, during this lunar, the moon New Year. You know, based on the moon calendar, and you get older during the New Year, and not during your birthday. And also that you're like born 1 year old according to the lunar calendar, or according to Asian countries like Vietnam. But for me, I was born 0. And 86, when I was 1 year old, I was crawling around. 87, probably still crawling, but starting to talk and starting to sing a little. And I started singing just like the melody of things. Very young, I would sing things, and I still like to sing. It's one of my favorite things. Bum bum ba da da da, stronger than before. And now I can sing a little, and I can actually, you know, communicate now. And I've been working on that. But before, I couldn't really talk as well. So it was really hard. In 1988, I believe that we went to Seattle for the first time for me in Washington State, and there was a big swimming pool. We're able to see like some of my relatives of my mother's side of the family. There's a big swimming pool, and I thought I was going to drown, and there was these big stairs, and everything was big, and there was this piano that may have been their piano, or may have been the same piano that they brought over back to our house. Because my mother has a piano that is a Steinway & Son, a baby grand piano that was made. It was made in 1925 and passed on from like my mother's mother, or my mother's mother's mother, or something, and it's still in the family, and it may be passed on to my older sister, Katie Jean Arnold, most likely. I also have another brother named Richard Schuyler Arnold, who is an airplane engineer and has a family in Oklahoma, like Tulsa or Oklahoma City. Oklahoma is a state above South America and Mexico and Central America, and Texas, the state Texas. And I have 2 sisters, a younger sister who's 5 years younger than me, and an older sister who's 5 years older than me. And I have an older brother, Richard, like I already said, airplane engineer. And he's 3 years older than me. So my younger sister is Crystal Ann Arnold, and my older sister is Katie Jean Arnold. And they're both like living together in New York City, and they've done different things, like they've been like waiters and, I don't know, teachers, instructors, travel the world, I guess, and I don't exactly know everything they do. But I have 2 sisters and a brother, and I remember going to Seattle in '88 and feeling like I was going to drown at a big swimming pool, but they were holding me up, and I still can't swim. Even to this day, I can't swim. And it was interesting just, you know, going to Seattle, looking out the car, and seeing all these cars, and seeing the highways and bridges as we were going to Seattle from Forest Grove, as we traveled through Portland, that's PDX in Oregon, and you know, these things stay with you. And I remember a lot of things from my life. But other people would say, well, they don't remember. But I kind of have memories of, you know, I may have remembered and still remember the day I was born. My mother says I was smiling on the day that I was born. I'm not exactly sure, but maybe I was, and maybe I do remember just like smiling and not crying and looking around and being curious and being optimistic about the world. So another thing that happened in 1988 when I was 3 years old, we went to see my older sister in like a competition or just rehearsals in Forest Grove, downtown Forest Grove, doing gymnastics. My older sister does gymnastics, or used to do gymnastics, and then we were going home on the bus, the TriMet bus, and we get off and we go across the road, the highway, and then a car hits my mom, and my mom gets a broken arm. But then like my brother saved me, pulled me out of the way, and then we went home with some strangers who actually they're friends with my mom, I guess, or something. And we're like, me and my brother were playing hide and seek at these people's house, and then my father came that night, like it might have been like a Monday night, and he took us home and gave me some grape juice in like a bottle that's kind of like a baby bottle, but a little different, like what you give a baby after they're too old to have a baby bottle, like a transition between a baby bottle and a cup, one of those things. And then later we went to see my mom in the hospital, and she had like a cast, and they had to put like steel into to fix the bone because her arm was broken, and then she needed help with everything because she only had one arm for like months and months, and she had a big scar and still has a big scar on her arm, and I still remember that. And then I started playing with a neighbor nearby named Tony, and so he was one of my favorite friends. I mean, first friends, and favorite at the time, and he lived a couple houses away, and he was Mexican, Hispanic, and then we had another neighbor right next to us in space 163, and I became friends with the boy there, Kyle Vanderzanden, and many years later I became friends with the father, Mike Vanderzanden, who also became a Christian, started going to service later, like at the end of the 1990s or maybe around 95. But before that, he would just be drinking like an alcoholic, like my father. And you know, Irish people, they like to drink, and so does my father, and some people do. And there's nothing too bad about drinking unless if it destroys you and makes you into a horrible person. That could be really bad. In 1990, when I was 5 years old, I met Tiffany Cumbo, a girl in my dreams. And I started falling in love with her. And I asked Christ to save me when I was 5 years old. In 1991, when I was 6, I started drawing Indians more. And I was still playing with Tiffany. In 1992, when I was 7, we went to California to see my father's relatives and to find my father's birth mother for the first time. And his father already died when he was like 3 years old. And we went to Disneyland around December for Christmas, about 10 days, and we were able to see my mother's brother and his daughter, so like Brian Moorhead, my uncle Brian Moorhead, a funny tall man that I guess I look up to as one of my favorite uncles that I didn't really know much of. I didn't really know him that well, but he's a missionary, and I think he's a really cool guy. And we were able to go and see other relatives, like my father's mother, I believe, and other relatives like my brother's half-brother. I mean, did I say brother? I mean, my father's half-brother. Like, not Ron, but the other guy. I can't remember his name. Like, not Mike. I don't know his name right now. And we were able to see, like, Wayne's World 1. And then at the time, I think Wayne's World 2 was going to come out. Oh man, I could tell you about all the different movies and shows I've seen in my life too, but that might take longer to talk about. I'm trying to tell you about everything in my life, and it's already been 15 minutes. I think it's because I've been going through too many rabbit trails and talking about this, and then I talk about that, and I'm not talking enough about bullet points, main things that has happened in my life. Like, I go to California, we go to Disneyland for the first time, and we did a bunch of other things too, like basketball. In 1993, when I was 8, I started playing basketball for a team, and I started going to Awanas and Word of Life Olympians and Taekwondo, karate, and these are different things like Awanas and Olympians. They are Bible clubs that you go to where you learn about the Bible and you memorize things and you get to play games and have snacks and just learn how to be with other people, which I needed because I was homeschooled and I was a few years behind in everything in my life because I had trouble learning and trouble hearing. But my mother always helped me and helped me a lot to learn how to talk and how to read and write and everything and that helped me a lot. And so I was involved also in a church play, and I had lines. And even though I wasn't that good at talking at the time, I was in a Christmas play in 93, I believe. That was the first play I was in that I had lines. I may have been in plays before that, but I'm not exactly sure. I don't remember being in plays before that. But that's the first play I remember being in. I was a shepherd boy in the story of Jesus for Christmas, since Christmas is also about Christ, the birth of Christ. And the angels appeared to the shepherds and said, there's the Son of God, and he's being born. You got to follow the stars. And then I had some of the lines there, and I remember doing that, and I really liked that. And so when I was 8 years old, I started thinking about marrying Tiffany Russell Cumbo, since I met her when I was 5 years old, and I fell in love with her, and I was drawing pictures of her, and I wanted to marry her. And it was amazing. I mean, I thought she was amazing, and I wanted to travel the world and help people like a missionary and have like balloons high up in the sky so people can see me, and a platform to speak on, like a motivational speaker and pastor, and have wheels to help me go places. And I actually drew at least one picture that described that. And I started playing basketball, and I wanted to be the next Michael Jordan and the next Michael Jackson because I loved singing and dancing. In 1994, when I was 9 years old, I started writing more, reading more. Just kind of like the same things that I was doing when I was 8, but just better, a lot better. And my father bought me Rival Turf for the Super Nintendo for my birthday. In 1995, when I was 10, I saw Batman and Robins, I believe, and around that time I also saw Star Trek Next Generation and The Lion King. I believe that was when I was 9 in 94. I saw The Lion King, and it's similar, to the previous years, and I was just doing things more. But I also started writing, and I wrote a few stories, like a story about dinosaurs that come back. They used to be alive and they were modern, and dinosaurs were like evolved like humans, and they were able to have inventions, and then maybe they went to another planet, but then they come back to take over the world, like the Planets of the Apes, but with dinosaurs. And they were like gone for like millions of years or thousands of years, and then they come back to try to take over the earth. And I was 10 years old, and I wrote like pages and pages of that story. And I had another story where like I was not me, not about me, but it was about these people, and they had to fight the aliens, and the aliens, they blow up the earth, and then the people, they hop into spaceships before that happens, and they travel to the aliens planet and they blow up their planet. in revenge, oh, now we don't have a home, we'll blow up your home. And that was really sad. It's sad when that happens. And they travel around space, and maybe they find a new planet to call Earth, to call their home, and maybe they totally destroy the aliens. And I call that like the Star Troopers or something. It's similar to a movie. But let me tell you more later.